Hey guys, Yulia here. So today I wanted to talk about one of the plants blooming in my garden right now, and it is a hardy hibiscus or Hibiscus moscheutos. They are closely related to other hibiscuses like Hibiscus syriacus or Rose of Sharon that is very common in gardens, and also the Hawaiian hibiscus, that tropical one that is usually an annual in my area. So what I wanted to talk about is how to take care of these beautiful plants, and it's actually surprisingly easy considering how stunning they are. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to show you the varieties that I have in my garden, which is not nearly as many as I want to have. So I may have to add to my collection. And then I'm going to kind of sit down and go step by step and explain how to take care of these plants and all the other wonderful things about them. Alright, so I'll start with this beauty here, and this is cherry cheesecake hibiscus. It has beautiful white flowers with maroon center, and I just love how the maroon center is bleeding out into the petals. Tons of blooms. So this is another hibiscus that I have, and this one is called Heartthrob. This hibiscus grows to about 4 feet tall and wide, and there is a quick story about this hibiscus. My husband and I went to watch our nephew's rugby game all the way to Pittsburgh. We drove all the way to Pittsburgh probably for like 9 hours and back, and on the way back we stopped by this nursery. It was really wonderful local nursery, and I saw this plant and I was like, okay, we're buying this, putting it on the back of the car and driving it to New Jersey. So this is our Pittsburgh hibiscus. It always reminds me of how we went to see the rugby game. Anytime it blooms, I'm just thinking about that memory. Anyways, this hibiscus in a part shade location, which they don't prefer. That's why I don't get as many blooms as you would normally get if this plant was out in bright sunny location. But I still, look, you could see like tons of buds, so I still get a lot of blooms. The blooms only last one day, but because you have so many, it blooms all the way to mid-September. And this hibiscus here is Kopper King, and the flowers are very similar to cherry cheesecake, but they are bigger, and there is a little bit more pink or dark red in the petals. So, and also the foliage is much darker than the cherry cheesecake. So as you can see, this one is covered with flowers and tons of buds, and it will be blooming until mid-September. So there's a quick view from the side, and the reason I wanted to show you is I do have a sawfly infestation here. This is like the first year where it's this bad. See this leaf right here? And the reason why I know it's sawfly and not a caterpillar is because I actually saw the flies on this plant. So I will talk about how to deal with this problem later in the video. So as it turns out, I only have 3 varieties of this hibiscus, and I definitely should get more because this plant is incredibly easy maintenance, and you get these stunning flowers. And a lot of people who visit my garden this time of the year ask me all kind of questions about the care and the size of the flowers and all kind of things. So anyways, let me talk about this plant a little bit more. And I have a lot of the information written down because I will forget something, I know. So hardy hibiscus is good in zones 5 through 9, which is pretty hardy. And although it does look like a shrub, it is technically perennial because it dies down to the ground completely in the winter. So in the spring, there's nothing. You just start with nothing. And a lot of people worry when they see absolutely no growth in the spring because hardy hibiscus is very slow to start. So for weeks and weeks, you will see no growth in the spring, and a lot of people think that it's dead, but it is not. Just be patient and don't get devastated if you don't see anything. They will get started, and then once they start growing, they put on a lot of growth in a very short period of time. Like in a matter of a month and a half, you will have a 4-foot shrub with buds. And as for the size, the hardy hibiscus comes in sizes anywhere from 4 to 6 feet, both tall and wide. So when you do plant your hibiscus, remember, because you don't have a lot of things happening in the spring, and it doesn't grow that fast in the spring, a lot of people start planting perennials or annuals around it, and by the time it grows, it just grows and suffocates anything that you plant around it. So just leave some space, and remember, they will put a lot of growth on during the season. The soil that they prefer is really not that important. They not particularly fussy about it, whether it's acidic or alkaline. The one thing that they really care about is moisture. They actually come from wetlands, and Hibiscus moscheutos are native to northern United States, northern and like all the way, I believe, to Alabama. So they come from wetlands, so they really prefer a lot of moisture, and when you have a dry soil, they may drop their buds. They will be really unhappy, and I notice myself when I water them a lot, they just so much happier and just like such sturdy looking plants right away. So as for soil fertilizer, I don't particularly fertilize them with any mineral fertilizers, but I do top soil off in the spring with about 1 inch of compost or 1 inch of dehydrated manure. They really appreciate that, and because they're putting so much growth on, they need that nitrogen. And then maybe later, when they're forming buds, you can add maybe some osmocote or something like that, but it's really not necessary. They're very easy going with the soil quality. Now, as for the bugs, I really did not have any pest problems with them until this year. So this year I had a major sawfly infestation, and sawflies, when they are in a larva stage, they look kind of like caterpillars, but they're not true caterpillars. So the caterpillar insecticidal soaps will not work on them, and you have to use something like a spinosad or something like that. BT will not work on them. One note about insecticidal soaps for hibiscus: the organic types, make sure that you don't use the ones that contain neem oil. Neem oil is great. I use it a lot in the garden, but hibiscus are very sensitive to neem oil, and they actually can drop the buds if you use neem oil to take care of your pests and bugs. I think this is pretty much it for the hibiscus. Again, this is a short video because it's just such an easygoing plant. Here comes a plane. Missing my planes here. I'm just enjoying this plant a lot. The one thing that I would like for this plant the quality to have is to be a good cut flower. So this one I cut this morning, and they are fading, and the flowers only last one day, whether it be on the shrub or in a vase. But look how gorgeous these plants are. So anyways, I highly recommend that you go out there and get a hardy hibiscus. I'm sure they're on sale right now in your local nurseries, and plant away. Don't freak out if they take their time coming up in the spring, and just enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.